Hi, welcome to this introduction to Genesis 1. There are four themes that I want to share with you. The first one is that Jesus was there at the beginning. The second is that we follow a Trinity God. The third, that he brings order out of chaos. And fourthly, we see beauty in his creation. Let's worship him. So, number one, Jesus, the Word, was there at the beginning. And it does help to read John chapter 1, verse 1, because John says he was the Word. He was there at the very beginning and was part of creation. And we also have this in Genesis 1, verse 1, the idea of the Holy Spirit hovering over an empty planet. And when God the Father spoke, using the Spirit and the Word, Jesus, things changed. Things were created. It's a mystery. I don't think it was by chance. I don't necessarily know if this is we can take this completely literally. All I know that he has designed this, that he is behind it all. And it is wonderful and beautiful. So Jesus there at the beginning. We have the 7 ages of Jesus. We have Jesus part of the Holy Spirit, the Father, before the very thought of a creation, the universe was happened. They were there together in unity. Then we see Jesus in creation. And therefore it assumes if he was there, he was around during the Old Testament. Maybe it was Jesus that wrestled with Jacob. Maybe it was Jesus who appeared with Meshach, Shadrach and Abednego in the fire, the fourth image. We're not completely sure, but it could have been. And then we have that time when Jesus is born to Mary, where God becomes like one of us, becomes human flesh and lives with us. And we have so many testimonies like Matthew, Mark, Luke and John of all that he did. And then he dies, he comes back to life, and he's resurrected, and he comes back in his resurrection body. It's not the same body, but it's still the same Jesus. He can walk through walls. People recognize him, but he can disguise himself. Then he ascends to heaven, and although we live in this day today, we have the hope that one day he will come back again. So Jesus, it just isn't Jesus like just for that time when he was born and then when he died and came back to life again, went back to heaven. He has been there from before the beginning of time. This is Jesus, the Word. He was there at the beginning. Number 2, we follow a Trinity God, the Father, the Holy Spirit, Jesus. I love it in Genesis 1-3. They refer to themselves as us. They are together as a community. It's a mystery trying to get your head round how can be God in one thing in 3 things. But I just see creation as an outpouring from him, the universe, our planet, us, me, you. And he is inviting us to become the fourth part of the Trinity, this relationship that they have together. We are part of it. It says in Genesis, we are made in his image, and we're also given the responsibility to rule. There's that lovely bit jumping forward to Luke 22, where Jesus tells the parable of the wedding feast, where we are invited to come to the wedding of the church and him in that time in the future. This book has been brilliant. Michael Reeves, The Good God. That's been a great read for me. I've devoured every word. It's been brilliant. And in it, he talks about some people believe in like a monogod, if it's just God. But then he points out in his book brilliantly, better than I can do now, there are so many problems with just the idea of if God is one thing, it's that type of love worship is like a one way, maybe 2 ways thing. But if we have a Trinity view of God, of a God that cannot contain himself in one being, that he is Spirit, he is the Word, he is the Father, and he's inviting us to be part of it. He wants to share his love with us together. Point number 2, we have a Trinity God. Point number 3, he brings order out of chaos. He is the awesome creator, the great recreator. He keeps going on recreating, keep loving, keep coming out of this wonderful relationship between the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. He is also the amazing restorer. I love the fact that in right at the very beginning, verse 1, 2, 3, that there is darkness, yet he says, let there be light. And he can make all things new. And he continues to do that. I'm not too sure how he does it, but he does it. This has been really good as well. Daniel Strickland, A Beautiful Mess. I'd encourage to read that book. I just love it, like even the Bible, and this is why Jen is such a foundation for everything else that follows. Isaiah talks about a bruised reed he will not break, a smouldering wick he will not snuff out. He will always recreate. He will transform. He will restore. He brings order out of chaos. And fourthly, we see beauty in his creation, so let's worship him. I only have to go outside and walk in the countryside to realise God is around me. His nature is in everything. He is in nature because he is nature. People talk about, just ask the universe. Seems to be quite current these days, but the universe has a name. His name is Jesus. And we can talk to him, we can know him, we can have a relationship with him. And in Genesis, as he goes through the different aspects of the creation, each time he says, it is good, it is good, it is good, it is good. And on the 6th day, he says, when he's created the beasts on the land and man, male and female, he says, very good. So let's worship him. Let's worship him. I love that. Springing forward to right at the end of the Bible, Revelation chapter 4, we have a picture of what heaven is like and what worship can be like. So be encouraged by that. Let's worship him. So, quick conclusion. Welcome to this introduction of Genesis 1. There are 4 themes from the beginning of the Bible that spring forward into the rest of the Bible and to our lives now. Jesus was there at the beginning. We follow a Trinity God. He brings order out of chaos, and we see beauty in his creation. So let's worship him.